But this is the big event here tonight, and it's live on Talksport. Real Madrid and the Champions League is the perfect football marriage. They just click, they rarely argue, they divide the domestic chores equally, they just belong together. But Chelsea can mess up any marriage. Real Madrid proved last season you don't have to be the best in Europe to be European champions. Chelsea aren't even the best in West London. Chelsea don't care about that tonight. As the song goes, Chelsea are carefree wherever they may be. While they're in the Spanish capital, it's one of 60 live commentaries on Talksport in April alone. Real Madrid against Chelsea, Champions League quarter-final, first leg with the former Chelsea captain Andy Townsend, alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. Good evening to you. And it's hard to remember too many European ties that Chelsea have gone into feeling at a lower ebb than this one. 11th in the table, the second week of April, with almost as many managers as away league wins this season. The bridge has been over troubled water from pretty much day one. And with the top six finish looking a stretch in the extreme, only the Champions League remains to save face and salvage the campaign. From here, it appears the tallest of orders. But how many times has this competition been the remedy for Chelsea ills? Frank Lampard, of course, points to 2012, when the Blues were finishing outside the top four for the first time in a decade, but they shot Bayern in their own backyard to win the final. Even 2 years ago, when they lifted the trophy again, they did so in a season where Frank himself had paid the price for a far from happy New Year. A success in the final 8 weeks after losing 5-2 at home to be soon to be relegated West Brom. Well, this season where high spots have been so isolated, they won in the San Siro, and they conjured up a vintage European performance to see off Dortmund. It's the competition that's often brought the best out of Chelsea. Tonight it has to extract the very best against one of the very best. Chelsea make 3 changes to the side that lost at Wolves, and a change of formation to 3-5-2. Aretha Balaga in goal, Fofana, Silva and Koulibaly, James, Conte, Fernandes, Kovacic and Chilwell, Sterling and Joao Felix up front. Real name 9 of the 11 that started last season's final. Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Camavinga's the back four. Rudiger's on the bench. Valverde, Kroos and Modric. Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius, and the game will be overseen by the French referee Francois Leterrier. Well, every time Chelsea and Real Madrid play, it has a very different feel about it, and this one no exception, Andy.
Not at all, Jim. Really looking forward to the occasion, hoping that Chelsea start the game positively, neat and tidy with the ball at their feet early on, very aware of the Madrid counter-attack and all of the qualities that they possess. Don't switch off, never turn your back on anything. All those basic attributes have to be in place tonight when you come to a ground like this against a team with a history, with a tradition of overcoming and seemingly getting beyond the impossible in this stadium. So you need to play well, you need the luck, you need decisions to go your way. Everything has to drop into place in order to leave here with a really positive result in your pocket.
And it was an excellent pre-match mosaic that the Real Madrid supporters put up, the banner. But I'm not sure about some of the artwork. I think it was supposed to be Carlo Ancelotti and a couple of his henchmen, but it did look like Roy Keane, Carver from the Bill, and the little one out of Peaky Blinders.
It did look like Keano, didn't it? It was a huge banner that was draped behind Thibaut Courtois as we look. And I was thinking, I'm not quite sure why he's there. But there you go.
Well, it was a year ago tonight. Chelsea were last here, centre stage in Mission Impossible, trailing 3-1 from the home leg, needing to defy both Real Madrid and all conventional wisdom. They so nearly pulled it off. So a year on with the odds stacked against them again, their return to the Bernabeu provides a reminder. However unlikely the scenario, you just never know. Real Madrid in all white, kicking from left to right, we're underway. Chelsea in all blue, and defending the end away to our right-hand side, the Chelsea supporters that have made the trip to central Spain, high up in the gods away to our right. Carvajal, you thought the away end at Newcastle was high. You ain't seen nothing yet. The ball goes out to the Real Madrid left-hand side for Luka Modric, who's playing on the left of the midfield three. First chance of Vinicius to try and take on Reece James, who showed him inside. Crunching challenge comes in. The French referee plays the advantage. The ball is laid down now for Rodrigo on the right-hand side of the penalty area. He's trying to trick his way through, but Kovacic got in the way. Ben Chilwell can do the rest. Clear his lines. Chelsea through the opening minute, but they haven't seen too much of the ball in it.
Yeah, on the back foot, actually. The start has been a positive one from the home team. Neat and tidy in possession. Again, just trying to draw and entice those Chelsea players into those challenges before they move it and skip beyond them. So they've just got to make sure they keep their focus, their concentration here early on.
Camavinga on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Laying it back for Luka Modric. N'Golo Conte just pushes forward to engage him. Camavinga swinging inside the penalty area. Rodrigo made a run into a central position, but it's cleared. Chelsea will get it further away, and on the counter-attack might be able to get it through. And the pace of Joao Felix. There's no flag against him yet. He's on the edge of the penalty area, gets a shot in, and it's saved by Courtois at his near post, and it's a corner. Well, there's the game plan for Frank Lampard and Chelsea. Soak it up. Hit them on the counter.
Fantastic football from Chelsea. All the Real Madrid players in the Chelsea half of the field. Chelsea turned the ball over. A brilliant little 1-2 with N'Golo Conte and Raheem Sterling. Then releases Joao Felix. He's not offside. The run is from his own half. One-on-one, gets to the edge of the box, just a yard inside, hits the shot. And Thibaut Courtois manages to pull off a very important block with his legs and send it out for a corner. But superb counter-attack that from Chelsea.
Joao Felix played in 6 Madrid derbies in his Atletico days. He didn't score in any of them, he didn't win any of them, but he very nearly had a major impact just 2.5 minutes into this one. Corner comes in and is headed away, and then back into the Real Madrid penalty area where it's successfully shepherded over the line by Toni Kroos, and out of play for a goal kick with 3 minutes in. You're with Talksport live from the Bernabeu. It's Real Madrid 0, Chelsea 0.
As brilliant as Real Madrid are, and they are an amazing team here, they will always give you situations. They will always give you and present them opportunities for you to maybe go and score. They always have done, they always will. They're not the meanest and the tightest necessarily in their team shape. You can play through them if it's fast, if it's accurate. Chelsea did that superbly there. That was really good play, defending on the edge of their box. Couple of swift passes, a little 1-2 with N'Golo Conte and Sterling, and a first time pass to release Joao Felix right down the middle of the field.
And here comes Chelsea on the counter-attack again, with Conte picking it up. Joao Felix making a run down the inside left channel ahead of him. Conte will take it on to the edge of the area before laying it off, and the cross comes in with Raheem Sterling lurking on the edge of the 6-yard box, but it didn't get to him, and Real Madrid can clear. Well, already Chelsea, with very little of the possession, have been able to launch 2 counter-attacks, which will provide them with great optimism that they might be able to find a way through. Real continuing to defend with a high line as they lose possession again. But Chelsea win it back with Fernandes, and he's played it for Joao Felix with a layoff. Kovacic diverting it swiftly to his left-hand side for Ben Chilwell. And it's been a decent start from Chelsea, all things considered, albeit that possession-wise they're barely in the 40s. They swing it wide here for Reece James. Nicely fouled by Enzo Fernandez, who gets it back. A 25-yard 1-2 between the pair of them. Kovacic, Sterling on the half-turn. Joao Felix has got it now back in towards Sterling, but again it didn't get there. It was Alaba that sorted that. Real will try and play out with Modric working it wide, and now it's the Spanish side who will make their way forward down the left, and that could well be a yellow card. Vinicius running with real intent at Fofana, and he's one of the Chelsea players that isn't a caution away from suspension, but he's a caution away from a red card tonight.
That's that situation Adrian and I were talking about before the game. Reece James ahead of the ball gets turned over, and all of a sudden they release Vinicius Jr., who's running at Wesley Fofana right on the halfway line. Goes past him, it's just a blatant body check from the Chelsea defender, draws the yellow card. Now has to be very careful. The one good thing for Fofana being on a yellow card, as long as he's sensible, he's extremely quick and athletic. He can go shoulder to shoulder, he can run with people, try and stay with them. So he hasn't got to commit to challenges because he lacks pace.
And his score against Milan in the group stage of the Champions League, Wesley Fofana, but a player with not too much Champions League experience behind him. Of course, he's missed so much of this season through injury. He barely played a dozen games for Chelsea. Vinicius has it again. So Reece James is touch tied to him this time. Modric will pick it up, lay it off for the tall, blonde-haired German, Toni Kroos. At 33, still very much the junior partner of those two in the midfield. Modric at 37 these days, but Peter Pan-like 37. Alaba out towards Camavinga, playing at left-back again today, as he did occasionally in the World Cup. And he did a good effect in the Copa del Rey semi-final second leg against Barcelona last week, which Real won 4-0, booking a final with Osasuna. Now Enzo Fernandez winning it back, working it forward. Sterling picks up possession, no flag against him. So much room again for Conte, this time on the edge of the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez is with him. It's back towards Sterling, gets round Camavinga, who sweeps his legs away from him. Sterling tumbling inside the box, the contact's clearly out, but it's a yellow card for Camavinga and a free kick for Chelsea, about 10 yards diagonally infield from the corner flag.
Yeah, Real Madrid affording Chelsea a lot of room when they have the ball. Used it wisely there. It was Enzo Fernandez who released Raheem Sterling down the right side. Little 1-2 with him and N'Golo Conte. Eventually sets up Camavinga, of course, who's in that left-back position for Real Madrid tonight. Skips past him, draws the foul, quite rightly. The referee brandishes the yellow card to the Real Madrid left-back.
So a defender from each side in the book inside the opening 7 minutes. It's been so astonishingly open. Bearing in mind it's the first 10 minutes of the first leg of the game. Now Chelsea with this free kick, what can they muster from it? Reece James stays back. Everybody else is around the edge of the penalty area. I mean, James himself is only 15 yards outside the box. Two in the wall, which is Vinicius and Rodrigo. Every Real Madrid player back inside the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez stands hands on hips at the far post, peels away, and the shot comes in, and it's a disappointing delivery from Ben Chilwell, flash past everybody.
It is a disappointing one. Put that in the box, put that right in the middle of the pack. It's a little narrower than he would have liked. It wasn't from a real wide position, that free kick. It was almost towards the edge of the penalty area. But in the end, Ben Chilwell gets too much on that, sails over the bar. That's a bit of a waste. Great start when they've got the ball from Chelsea. Looked really nice and composed in possession, but with that threat, that all-important threat.
And now Rodrigo makes a run. Thiago Silva and Fofana could cover it, and Fofana heads it back to Thiago Silva. And Chilwell will play it down towards Mateo Kovacic, back on his old stomping ground. He was here as they had that run of 3 successive Champions League trophies in the middle part of the last decade. Although he didn't play in any of the finals, he was omitted in 16 and sat and watched from the bench in 17 and 18. And he'll feel that he's got a point to prove still as he makes his way back here. Reece James has got possession for Chelsea over on the right hand side with his bleach blonde hair. Played forward through the midfield, but he couldn't find his man. Kroos has won it back. Plays it through the centre circle. It's a good ball as well, down towards the Real Madrid right-hand side for Rodrigo. Rodrigo playing it forward. Koulibaly read it and then did well to turn and get it forward towards Chilwell. Chilwell's ball hit Carvajal and bounced forward kindly for Chelsea into the path of Kovacic. And now Fernandez will get Reece James coming forward again. Really good confident start from Chelsea. 9.5 minutes in at 0-0.
That switch is on for them very much. Whenever they get possession with Enzo Fernandez or Kovacic, if they have to go 50, 60 yards out the other side, that is always on. Chelsea's two wing-backs, Reece James and Ben Chilwell, in advanced positions.
And James has got it now, and he's found Conte, who's covered so much ground inside the opening 10 minutes and frequently finds himself as the spare man in that 3 against 3 direct battle in the midfield that Chelsea dominating so far. Ball hooked inside the area here. Sterling tried to knot it down, but couldn't find Joao Felix. And the French referee's blown his whistle anyway. A push by Raheem Sterling inside the 6. We've got to 10 minutes. It's 0-0 on Talksport. And here's the former Chelsea captain, Andy Townsend.
Yeah, it's been a bright opening spell for Chelsea. Certainly the first couple of minutes, it was all the white shirts with the ball at their feet. But ever since N'Golo Conte managed to break forward and release Joao Felix, his shot was well saved from Thibaut Courtois. Within 2 or 3 minutes, they've done the same again for Raheem Sterling. Chelsea have looked dangerous when they pick the ball up, nice and composed when they've got the ball, picking their passes, waiting for the right moment to try and expose that Madrid back line.
Another goal in the National League. Mike Williamson's Gateshead have had a really good run late season there, leading 2-1 at Eastleigh. And sure, Gateshead will be staying up without any problem whatsoever, all but mathematically safe if they can hold on there as Camavinga plays it forward for Real Madrid. 0-0 with 11 minutes gone. You're with Talksport. Our Champions League coverage is brought to you with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Real bringing it forward again. Courtois much the busier of the two goalkeepers so far. Just a watching brief for Arifa Balaga, but now he might have a shot to deal with. Benzema's effort hit Thiago Silva and ricochets the safety from a Chelsea perspective.
Yeah, every now and again Benzema drops off the Chelsea backline into midfield to pick the ball up. Little give and go there, shot with his left foot from 25 yards. It shouldn't have given Kepa any genuine problems, but it was blocked before it got there.
Rodrigo to Valverde. Valverde for Carvajal. He'll turn it back inside his own half. We are, as we've been saying, with a bird's eye view here of the Bernabeu. They've put this fifth top tier on over the last year or so it's a much loftier vantage point than we used to have here. It gives you a fantastic tactical view as Benzema inside the penalty area gets into a shooting position, and it's well dealt with by Arifa Balaga at the near post, who smothered the ball and made sure that it didn't bounce out to either Rodrigo or Vinicius, who were lurking with some intent.
That's when he comes alive, Benzema. He picks the ball up on the edge of the box and then shapes to shoot and just feints and give a little ball into Rodrigo, gets it back, narrow angle, it's too tight to beat Kepa, but the shot was on target. Real Madrid's biggest threats are whenever the ball goes out to Vinicius at his feet, or eventually when the ball arrives at Karim Benzema on the half turn and he can bounce it into someone, get it back and look to get his shots away.
Chilwell does well to control a slightly mishit pass to him from Kepa Arifa Balaga. Koulibaly now playing it forward. It's another brilliant run from N'Golo Kanté. Eder Militao, though, had just a good enough starting position to be able to eat up the ground a little bit faster than Kanté and knock it back. But the point I was going to make about the lofty view we've got here, you get such a good tactical view of the game.
Yeah,
it's almost an overhead camera perspective that we've got, and Kanté is finding so much space in that midfield at the moment. He's, as Real Madrid win a corner, often the free man, and he's not sticking into the orthodox Kanté positions either.
And Modric or Kroos, they can't stay with him. They're never going to live with N'Golo Kanté when it comes to a foot race across the ground. No chance. They won't want to track his runs time and time again. Valverde may do it. He's on the other side of the park, so he's got to continue to do that at the right time, Jim. He's done it really well so far.
Real Madrid have a corner. We're 13 minutes in. It's their first. Valverde standing in front of the goalkeeper. Chelsea defending zonally inside the 6-yard box and able to head it away relatively easily. Picked up by Kroos, who nods it down to the Real Madrid right-hand side. Dani Carvajal with a deep ball in, and Arifa Balaga's handling is good. Catches it, takes it towards the edge of the penalty area, and then bowls it out towards Ben Chilwell.
Yep, no real problem from that corner. Swung in, as you mentioned. Chelsea was zoning right along the 6-yard line. Nice and solid.
Joao Felix will make another run forward, but probably went slightly too early, and there was a bit too much on the ball from Enzo, but it rolls through towards Courtois, but that pass is on. It's on.
And they've got time, the Chelsea midfield players, to pick a pass, to lift their heads. And Militao and Alaba are up close to the halfway line, and Enzo Fernandez has got all the time in the world to take the ball, have a touch, pick his head up and find a pass. That's dangerous. They're living dangerously at the moment, I think, Real Madrid. They look like they're comfortable in possession, but whenever Chelsea have it, there's going to be opportunities for them.
Benzema trying to take the ball through the midfield. Koulibaly followed him, but only so far. Modric will pick it up now. Good ball between the lines. Benzema's done well to receive it. And the veteran striker will make a run inside the penalty area, but James came across and he just stopped Benzema getting a clean run towards a straight ball that was played in by Rodrigo. He'd overhit it anyway, and Kepa can come out and catch him.
Again there, Karim Benzema, just very much the focal point of this Real Madrid team, but very clever when he drops in, links with people really well, and again has got that glint in his eye every time he gets the ball. He's looking to get a shot away and he wants to work the goalkeeper, wants to make the difference.
Chilwell's ball in for the touchline was a poor one, and Valverde read it and he won it back, and in conjunction with Carvajal can get Real Madrid going again. Now Valverde out towards Benzema, who tried to play the ball in for Vinicius down the inside left, channel in the penalty area. It's not the best clearance, and it ricochets back Vinicius' way. Fofana with a challenge, no foul. He's stayed down inside the penalty area. And N'Golo Conte receives the ball out from the back from Fernandes, and Chelsea are going to be able to clear their lines, and they're going to win a throw. No, it's just been kept in over on that far touchline. But Vinicius going to ground.
Yeah, he's looking for a penalty there that's never there. In the end, he's almost embarrassed to get back up to his feet because the referee just totally ignored him and said, come on, get back up. Eventually he does.
Here's Luka Modric, a veteran of 750-odd games in his club career. Carvajal. Play back to Kroos. Now Camavinga making his way forward into a more central area from left back. Fernandes has given it away. Shot comes in from distance and it whistles not too far wide. Well struck by Valverde, who's been in the goals this season. It was about 25 yards out. Poor defensive header by Thiago Silva. Enzo Fernandez taking it on his wrong side. Yeah. And it was a poor piece of play by the World Cup winner, but Valverde couldn't make him pay for it.
When you try and play square balls in the middle of the park, if they get cut out, then you eliminate all of your own midfield players around you. Enzo Fernandez there in the middle of that Chelsea 3 tries to go square to Kovacic. The ball doesn't reach its target. Valverde strides through with the ball at his feet towards the edge of the box. Thankfully for Chelsea, the shot is wild and well wide, but must be very, very careful. Sometimes a midfield player, you knock a ball forward, you're looking for someone, it doesn't find the target, no problem, no harm done. Square balls in your own half, if they get cut out, you're in trouble at this level.
Real Madrid will come forward again, 0-0 here on Talksport. Vinicius getting towards the byline. And the cross well blocked and more good defending there by Fofana.
And that's that one, Jim, shoulder to shoulder with Vinicius. Vinicius is running at him at full tilt there. Fofana backing off, eventually sends him towards the byline, goes shoulder to shoulder with Vinicius Jr. and does his job. Really good defending.
Now we're in the middle of 25 consecutive days of live football, continuing on the Talksport network tomorrow. With West Ham United back in a European quarter-final. They're in Belgium away to Ghent. That Conference League tie on Talksport 2. It kicks off at 5:45. And then Friday night, should I say, the next game from that absorbing promotion race in the EFL Championship. Middlesbrough against Norwich. Borough 8 points off the top two. Norwich a point adrift of the playoff places. A win for Middlesbrough takes them third. A win for Norwich takes them fifth. And it kicks off at 8 on Talksport 2, exclusive to Talksport 2 on national radio, Friday night. As I mentioned, 25 consecutive days of live football on the Talksport network. And it continues right now over on Talksport 2 as well. We're about a minute ahead of this one, Milan against Napoli. That also, like this, is 0-0. But that's live for you right now over on Talksport 2. If you've got the Talksport app, you can seamlessly swipe between the two games.
We're 18 and a half minutes into this first leg of this quarter-final, and it's gone very well for Chelsea. It can change in a flash.
Rodrigo hoping that flash is now. Hits a cross in, it hits Koulibaly. Goes out of play for a throw, which is taken quickly back for Dani Carvajal. More than 360 Real Madrid games behind him now. Back for Eder Militao. Alaba. Wide for Camavinga. Men in white exclusively inside Chelsea territory. Camavinga again, working a little 1-2 with Luka Modric, a little wall pass back to the Frenchman. Back he goes for David Alaba now, who's won this competition 3 times, twice as a Bayern player and once with Real last year. Chilwell played forward down the line, off Carvajal, out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea left-hand side. Chelsea, the last side to eliminate Real Madrid in a Champions League tie when they beat them in the semi-finals back in 2021. Well, they were good at Stamford Bridge that night in the second leg of that to win 2-0. Lost to Real Madrid in the quarterfinals last season in heartbreaking style. A 5-4 aggregate defeat, but Real needed extra time here in the second leg, trailing 3-1. Carvajal had been 3-0 down, you'll remember, in that game with not long to go.
Yep.
Benzema playing it back here for Eder Militao. We're 20 minutes in and Chelsea will be delighted with the 20 minutes that have passed so far. It's 0-0, but Chelsea have looked the sharper.
Yep. Good shape about the team. Vinicius Jr. just picking the ball up in that wide position. Reece James tracks the run and Chelsea end up with a throw-in. Defensively, they've been really solid so far, Chelsea, full of good concentration, just one or two momentary lapses. That happens, so just got to make sure that if someone does make a mistake, one of the teammates is there to try and pick it up, try and make sure that they correct it. But all in all, so far, it's been a comfortable opening 20 minutes to the game. They've looked dangerous when they've had the ball. Long way to go.
Long ball, play forward, through the middle, good save, but only tipped in the path of Benzema. He's done it against Chelsea again. Karim Benzema there to tap it in from only 3 yards out. Kepa Arrizabalaga diving down to his left-hand side, got a strong left hand to the initial header that came in from Vinicius, but he was powerless to do anything about where the rebound was going, and it was one straight ball over the top. And it's a game where Real Madrid really haven't done themselves justice so far, but that is all it takes.
That's them. That is them, Jim. Just out of nothing. It's Dani Carvajal who steps in and clips a straight ball in, and Vinicius just gets the wrong side of Wesley Fofana, gets his foot on it, knocks it back across the 6-yard box. Kepa can only palm it right into the feet of the main man, Karim Benzema. I wondered when I first saw the ball, could the goalie have come and maybe threatened Vinicius a little bit more? Because it was a straight 20-yard ball that almost found Vinicius on the edge of the 6-yard box. And I'm looking and thinking, could the goalie have maybe his starting position a yard further out just might have made him unable to get there before the Brazilian. However, Vinicius gets first touch, the goalie makes a save, can only palm it, flap it down to the feet of Benzema, and this incredible Real Madrid team again from nowhere somehow find what's required.
Well, he got a 25-minute hat-trick in the first leg against Chelsea last season, and he scored first tonight. His 26th goal of the season. Chelsea trying to reply straight away, and nearly did. Sterling forcing a really smart save out of Courtois, who gets high fives and handshakes from his teammates, because that was a big moment, and Sterling about 3 inches away from an instant equaliser.
Wow, it's a great chance. It's a brilliant ball in from Reece James. The run from Raheem Sterling is terrific. I think he should score. You know, I think that if it's at the other end, if that's Benzema, that's in the back of the net. It's a great stop from Courtois, but I really think Raheem Sterling could knock that in.
In comes Chelsea's corner, and it's easily headed away by Benzema.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect response to going one down. A brilliant run from Reece James. He actually doesn't really make good contact, Raheem Sterling, with that. He should be making far better contact with that. He is in front of his man, Eder Militao. The ball is about 4 yards out, 5 yards out, inside the width of the post. He doesn't make neat contact. In fact, I think it's Militao who knocks it out for a corner off of Courtois. Really good chance, that.
Well, players stop for a moment. Chelsea have a player down on the far side, and they've got another opportunity from a free kick. Toni Kroos just catching Enzo Fernandez. He stretched out his left foot and caught the knee of the Argentinian, who's back on his feet. Chelsea with another set-piece opportunity as they look for an equalising goal. The stats will tell you that Real Madrid have had 60% of the possession and 60% of the attempts on target, but it feels a bit closer than that. Much closer. Free kick works short. Conte chipping it in. Heads go up for it inside the penalty area. Guided down by Fofana. Thiago Silva then raising a left boot a little bit too high. And it'll be a free kick to Real inside their own box. Karim Benzema has got an extraordinary record in the Champions League. That's his 14th goal in his last 9 Champions League knockout ties. And he's now scored 6 in 5 against Chelsea and 20 in 26 against English opposition in this competition. His next goal for the club will be his 350th. He's a machine. He's done it again on a day where he's been relatively quiet. Modric has given the ball away, though, to Sterling. Sterling forward towards Fernandez, who off balance trying to hook it to his right for Kovacic on the half turn. Couldn't get there. Camavinga winning it back and playing Vinicius. Opportunity for him to run at Fofana inside the penalty area. He's got past in. The angle's tight. Chipped it in, and it bobbles into the hands somehow of Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Wow, what a run that. There's that counter. When they find Vinicius, he's so dangerous there. He picked the ball up, he ran at Wesley Fofana, he skipped past him, and he just clipped it over the top of Kepa trying to find Benzema. Thankfully it found a blue shirt and Chelsea survived.
One notable observation watching Frank Lampard, this obviously just his second game back at the club, that he's much more vocal than his predecessor. More than one way to manage from the edge of the technical area, of course, but there's a discernible change between his body language and the way that he approaches the job as to Graham Potter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think that is an important tool that managers have nowadays. I think they have to be there. I've mentioned before, you look at Tuchel, you look at Klopp, you look at Pep, you look at Conte, you look at the guys, the proven winners, they're jumping up and down, going mad on the sideline. They don't rest at any moment. I think that's the way you have to be. You're keeping on top of everything, you're contesting every decision, you're just making sure that every base is covered.
Real Madrid had possession back. Camavinga over to the left-hand touchline. Benzema, the goal scorer, recycling the ball between the lines and going back towards Toni Kroos.
Important, Jim, the game plan doesn't change for Chelsea. They've gone one down, disappointment, shrug that off, get on with the game. But the game plan must stay the same. Be ambitious when you can, but be narrow, be tight, be mean defensively. That was a goal I think they could have done better with. A straight ball down the middle. Fofana just slept.
And now Fernandes lost possession. Benzema wanted the ball to be played early by Vinicius, who picked it up. But then as Vinicius looked up, Benzema was in an offside position. So when he played it, Benzema not at a point where he could go for the ball. And Chelsea survived that. It's 27 minutes on the clock. Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0 here on Talksport. Jim Proudfoot, Andy Townsend talking through the action from the Bernabeu tonight. Still 0-0 in the other Champions League tie taking place, the all-Italian affair at the San Siro, but Napoli well on top of that. Chelsea bring the ball forward again inside the penalty area. Koulibaly just knocked it in behind Sterling, and Camavinga's going to be able to clear.
I think the big man could have kept going there, Koulibaly. Striding towards the edge of the box, tried to find Raheem Sterling with a clever pass, very nearly got there, just got deflected behind Sterling, but just felt Koulibaly might have kept going with that run and could have ended up taking a shot from the edge of the box pretty much unopposed.
Chelsea will bring it forward again. Felix has done really well. He's turned and got away from Eder Militao, gets a right-footed shot in that was then blocked by Dani Carvajal, and Real are going to be able to bring it away. But Chelsea still coming up with these moments around the edge of the penalty area. Real trying to break this time, but Chilwell has got good speed and came back and made a great recovery run to win it back.
There's lots of room for Chelsea to play in Madrid's half of the field. They can take a touch. You don't always have to think you've got to bump it backwards first time. You can get on the half turn, take it, turn and run at people. They're not the best, Kroos, Modric, at staying with runners.
And now Sterling will try and run at them, but having evaded the first challenge, he couldn't beat the second. Modric just had his pocket picked in the midfield, but Kroos was very quickly on hand to prevent any embarrassment. Valverde then back for Kroos, and out towards Camavinga. Fall from him into the feet of Benzema. Camavinga gets it again and goes wide this time for Vinicius on the Real Madrid left-hand side. Told you about all the live football we've got coming up. It's not just live football. It's this Saturday, Talksport will bring you live an exclusive heavyweight boxing commentary of Joe Joyce against Jay-Lee Zhang. That's Joyce Zhang this Saturday night, live, exclusive, and free to listen to on Talksport, the home of boxing. Real Madrid on the front foot here, leading by a goal to nil. Rodrigo, now Valverde taking up the cudgels after Koulibaly's initial interception. Camavinga in a shooting position, thought about it, pops it off to his right instead for Luka Modric. Benzema from a little bit of a deeper position. Camavinga gets it again, tries to stand across up for Benzema, couldn't get it over Koulibaly. Chelsea win it back, headed down by Kovacic on the edge of his own penalty area. Joao Felix back for Conte, who hasn't been able to find the space in the last 10-12 minutes that he did in the first 15. But Chelsea won possession back here through Conte, and he will now make a marauding run forward down the Chelsea right.
He's just slipped at the vital moment there, N'Golo Conte, and allowed Camavinga to recover.
Didn't have anything in the way of support either, N'Golo Conte, which was a problem, maybe just caught in two minds. Now Real Madrid with an excellent long diagonal ball, find Benzema on the right-hand side of the Chelsea box. It's about a yard inside the penalty area, and the ball stopped still for a good couple of seconds or so. Chilwell didn't dive in. Chelsea are able to get it away, and then Joao Felix has I thought foul. The referee didn't agree. And Kroos is allowed to play on after his challenge. Modric goes down towards Carvajal. 30 minutes in, 1-0, Real Madrid leading Chelsea here on Talksport with Karim Benzema's goal 10 minutes ago.
Chelsea's back three, now a back five. Reece James and Chilwell on top of those three centre-halves. The three midfield players in front shuffling side to side and allowing João Felix to get back and maybe just try and make that extra man in the middle of the park. Just playing very narrow, Chelsea trying to deny Madrid right now.
Oh, Camavinga with another straight ball over the top. That was effectively from the other side, exactly the same ball that
Correct.
they played to get Vinicius in. To force the opening goal for Benzema, picking it up in the inside channel and just clipping one 30 yards forward over the top of the Chelsea back line.
Yeah. The most dangerous players are Vinicius and Benzema. No doubt about that. Valverde has played very well. I think he's used the ball very effectively, won it back for his team really well. Kroos plays deep on the halfway line, gets it to initiate all of their passing sequences. Modric can float everywhere. But the two that Chelsea have got to continue to tie down are Vinicius and Benzema. Benzema's floating everywhere along that line, dropping in. Vinicius hugging that left touch line up against Reece James. When Reece James is out the picture, he's running directly at Wesley Fofana. They're the two they got to stop.
Camavinga playing it out towards Vinicius on the Real Madrid left-hand side. Real, a side that have not been brilliant defensively. They let in 3, albeit with a changed team against Villarreal here at the weekend. They've only kept 4 clean sheets in their last 23 matches in the Champions League knockout stages. But is this a Chelsea side that can exploit any potential weakness? Because this Chelsea team, as I know you know, failed to score in 13 of their last 22 matches. They haven't scored in the last 3 games where they had an XG of 5, but the return was 0. They've only scored 14 goals in those last 22 games when their expected goals would have been 31, which gives you an illustration of the depth of the problem. But they have created some half-decent chances tonight, notably the Sterling one. But he couldn't put it away. We're 12 minutes from half-time. Chelsea trailing 1-0, but have played well by and large. Not perfect, quite clearly, but it's been a better performance than some of the more pessimistic Chelsea supporters would have anticipated. Sterling's dropped deep to pick up possession here. Kovacic finds Chilwell back inside his own half for Koulibaly. Now to Thiago Silva, providing that rock-like presence at the heart of the Chelsea back line that's been missing over the last 6 weeks or so. Another run through the midfield was curtailed, but fairly. So João Felix was stopped. He thought it should have been a free kick, but nothing given. Now Fofana able to take the ball on the half turn. Kanté, who has tended to drift out to that right hand side for Chelsea to try and exploit any weakness in Camavinga's game positionally at left back. Chelsea work it back this time themselves and just recycle the ball in the midfield to try and get going again.
Yeah. Again, another square ball that Dani Carvajal cuts out.
It's Fernandes that gave it away. We've seen a few of those from him so far. Now to Benzema. Benzema playing it inside the penalty area. Goalkeeper can't come out and then makes a save at his near post. As the shot comes in from Rodrigo, Chilwell will just prevent the corner. But that was all too easy. The darting progress inside the penalty area there.
Started from that square pass from Enzo Fernandez. Tried to switch it 40 yards across the field. It gets cut out. And then they come alive, Real Madrid. 40 yards from goal. A couple of very swift passes. All of a sudden they've played through you and they're bearing down on the goal. Rodrigo there from a tight angle. Working Kepa, who makes sure that he's just about his business and denies him.
Modric works it off to his right-hand side for Rodrigo. Rodrigo and Carvajal link up. And the fullback plays it inside his own half for Eder Militao. Alaba able to bring the ball forward now over the halfway line. Camavinga just had to put the brakes on. He was making a run down the left-hand touchline, had to stop and get the arms out. Act as the parachute. But he managed to retrace his steps in time and recycle possession through the middle. Modric now towards Benzema. Koulibaly effects the block. Couldn't find Chilwell with the out ball though, and Dani Carvajal will bring it forward again. And the last 10 minutes have been all Real Madrid. Camavinga square across the edge of the penalty area. They're turning the screw here. Rodrigo and Vinicius trying to link up the two wingers in the central area. Chelsea can play it out. Another poor touch from Fernandes. just didn't quite have the care about a relatively simple ball for Sterling. And as a result of that, Real Madrid will be able to bring it forward again here. Vinicius towards the edge of the area. Benzema through a crowd, but no power. Comfortably saved by Arifa Balaga. We're 9 minutes from half-time, and it's 1-0 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, Chelsea have gone a little ragged with the ball for that last 10-minute period. They've just, for the first time in the game, just looked a little on their heels. And Real Madrid have very nearly capitalised on that. That shot from Benzema from distance, outside the box, probably by 3 or 4 yards, comfortably fielded by Kepa, no problem. But they just must be careful that they don't give the ball away too deep in their own half. That's better.
That was an excellent ball by Enzo out towards Reece James, coming in off the right flank, twisting and turning and getting the better of Camavinga. Can he supply a decent delivery? Not quite, because he had two players inside the box, Sterling and Joao Felix, but both had pulled back, wanting the pull back, and he drove it in towards the near post instead.
Both looking for a cutback. Someone's got to get across their man and get to the near.
And now Real will break at the other end. 3 against 3 for a moment. Fofana backing off. It's played round him. And the ball back inside the penalty area towards Benzema by the penalty spot is cleared. Offside flag up anyway, though. And it wouldn't have counted. It looked like the wrong choice of pass. But as I say, that's academic in the end, because the French official has his flag up with 8 minutes to go to the break here on Talksport at 1-0 to Real Madrid.
The game has actually got to feel like it's the last 15 minutes of the second leg. It's very open. It's kind of end to end. I don't quite like that just before half-time. I think Chelsea must be very, very careful in this moment not to concede again. Of course, as we've seen, Reece James, when he goes galloping forward, then someone's got to make sure that side of the field is locked down should they lose the ball. A couple of times now we've seen Chelsea attack and look dangerous. Very quickly the ball switches and changes hands, and Real Madrid look really dangerous when they start getting Rodrigo and Vinicius running at those central defenders.
It's certainly been one of the better Chelsea performances on the road that we've seen for a while, though. Remember, they've only won one of the last 12 away games in all competitions, which came at Leicester. They've drawn 7 blanks in that time, lost 8 out of the last 12 on the road, which is a frightening form to be in, to come into a tie of this magnitude against a club like this. But it's not been a bad performance by any stretch of the imagination from Chelsea, albeit that Real, having got themselves ahead, have been the better team in the intervening 15 minutes or so.
I think what's important for Chelsea is, as much as, and I've enjoyed watching the way that they've committed people forward, I think it's important that you do that here. But don't be reckless with it. Don't make it a slugging contest. If you do that against Real Madrid, you're going to get done. They're going to land the more significant blows.
Vinicius bringing it forward again. Reece James is quick, but Vinicius just has that extra half yard of pace when he needs it. Chelsea got it away. Fernandes over on the far touchline. Good 1-2 between him and Conte. Played back by James inside his own penalty area. And Fofana turns back out. Has he conceded the corner? Yes, he has. As he got the ball inside the box. The back pass wasn't on. He knew that he had to play it to try and prevent a corner. And the pressure from Vinicius was such that as he turned one way, all he could do really was knock it off the island and allow Chelsea the opportunity to reset. Corner taken short on the Real Madrid left-hand side. All too easy, the progress back inside the box before James knocks it away. They just danced on the dead ball line past Sterling, but goes out of play eventually for a throw over on the Real Madrid left. 6 to go to the break and still Chelsea trail it. Modric with an opportunity to deliver. Flick header from Alaba. And good goalkeeping from Kepa, because he got there just before Benzema did.
Yeah, really dangerous ball whipped in off of Real Madrid's left from Luka Modric. Alaba, who was still up from that previous corner, tries to get first contact. Benzema's lurking for a little flick towards the far post. Thankfully, the ball ends up comfortably in Kepa's hands. Really important spell this for Chelsea. Vital, in fact, that they make sure that lead isn't extended.
Against the ropes at times, they've just got to hang in there. Sterling in possession. It's played out to the Chelsea right-hand side. They're midway inside the Real Madrid half. Conte linking up with Enzo Fernandez. He's got James in support. He's turned back the other way and then tries to work it forward towards Sterling, but it took a little deflection away from him. And Real Madrid will be able to play out from the edge of their own penalty area, and the clearance from Eder Militao is just turned forward, and a brilliant layoff from Benzema. That was just a sublime touch, wasn't it? And he found Rodrigo, and now Vinicius will bring it forward, but his cross nothing like as good as the touch from Benzema in the midfield.
Yeah.
He's so clever. He's got 349 goals for Real Madrid, but the older he's got, the better he's got, and the awareness has improved.
Yeah.
And he's just so clever.
Very, very clever there. Lovely build-up play that. Vinicius one-on-one with Fofana. He had him backing into the box. I don't quite know why, but he tried to find Benzema far too soon. He's got Fofana, who's on a yellow card, backing into the penalty area. Take him on. Keep taking him on. Keep asking the question. Fofana's going to go to ground. He's going to try and make a challenge.
You're listening to Kickoff live on Talksport. After us, Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders open up the sports bar. You can have your say on national radio. 03717 223344 is the number. Your chance to react pretty much from the final whistle of this game onwards. And more reaction tomorrow morning. Sam Matterface joined by Gabby Agbonlahor on Talksport Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6. Ramon Calderon and Mario Melchior will both be on the show reacting to this game. And a reminder as well, if you fancy something different on your morning commute, you can check out Chris Evans' Breakfast Show weekdays from 6:30am on Virgin Radio, which you can listen to on DAB or download the app. We've got 3 minutes to go to half-time here in central Spain, where the sharp shower that we had before kickoff has abated. It's a decent, warm night. Real Madrid leading Chelsea by a goal to nil. Benzema just a little bit too strong on this near touchline for the Chelsea defender. It was Thiago Silva who come across to try and cover his run. Benzema leant into him a little bit overzealously, and the free kick has gone Chelsea's way.
Yeah. What I love about Karim Benzema, he comes alive when he senses there just might be something for him. Hasn't always got to be a shot on target. It might be a run in the gully. If he fancies he can get there first, he really gives everything in order to do that. He's just a little over-aggressive there with that challenge on Thiago Silva, and the referee quite rightly blows up for a foul against him. But look, the first 45 minutes has been far from poor for Chelsea. They've created some really good situations, had a nice amount of possession. Of course, coming here, you're not going to top all the stats, you know that. And Real Madrid, their goal game pretty much out of nothing. Straight ball down the middle. Vinicius just runs inside Fofana, gets first touch. Kepa makes a save from real close distance, and Benzema taps it in. They've had some good situations on top of that, the home team, but Chelsea very much in the tie.
So the home side winning here, the home side winning the game live on Talksport 2 as well. Ismail Benacer with the goal for Milan, who lead Napoli 1-0. It is live for you with Ian Danter and Alvin Martin over on Talksport 2 right now. That's a match in which Milan have had 2 shots and Napoli have had 8. But Milan lead with their only shot on target. 90 seconds from half-time, and Madrid on the front foot again. And another shot straight at Kepa Arrizabalaga when they got themselves into a good position with Valverde, who has improved in the final third, surely had better options on than just a direct shot from the edge of the area.
Wesley Fofana got caught just napping with the ball at his feet. Didn't make the decision quick enough, wasn't sure what he was doing with it. Valverde pinches it, strides 30 yards, takes the shot from distance, when you're quite right, Jim, there might have been better options available to him. That sort of situation Chelsea can ill afford to give this team. That's unnecessary.
He's got a dozen goals for Real Madrid this season, having only got 6 in about 140 games before this season. Kovacic will make his way forward towards the edge of the Real Madrid box, where they're defending mob-handedly. Just a big white blanket stopping Kovacic making any further progress, or finding Sterling. Sterling then trying to win it back on the near touchline, is able to do exactly that. No foul on Rodrigo. Ancelotti playing the crowd and the referee with the exaggerated throw of the arm across the body. Not happy that the free kick wasn't given Rodrigo's way, and Chelsea will be able to bring it forward. 20 seconds left in the first half, and potentially nothing to be added. Joao Felix, who's flitted in and out of the game a little bit too much maybe for Frank Lampard's liking. With a little layoff now, Kovacic laying it back for Koulibaly. Koulibaly for Ben Chilwell. Koulibaly has it again, 20 yards outside the penalty area, but his is the last touch of the half. And Real Madrid lead Chelsea at the break by a goal to nil. Karim Benzema with the goal on 21 minutes. It's his 26th of the season and his 6th in 5 games against Chelsea. It came after Chelsea were every bit as good as Real in the opening 20 minutes. The 25 minutes that have followed, it has been the 14-time European champions who've been on top. A solid 7 out of 10 for Chelsea, but sometimes a solid 7 out of 10 here is not quite good enough. At the break, Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0.
Cheers, Jim, as the players walk off. The pocket of Chelsea fans in the corner, up high to our right. We're getting very excited in that first half. I think they thought that it was a positive first 45, and 7 out of 10 is just about right. But Andy Townsend, let's talk about the goal, because the ball gets dinked in over the top. Vinicius Junior's got on the goal side of Fofana.
Yep.
And Kepa Arrizabalaga kind of pushes it into Benzema's path. Across social media, there's a lot of people saying the keeper has got to do better there. Do you think he could?
I think he's starting position. He can see the run. He can see the run that Vinicius is making from out to in. So Vinicius makes a run across Wesley Fofana between him and Thiago Silva. Dani Carvajal, the right back, is very narrow, 35 yards out. Straight ball clipped towards the 6-yard line. Goalkeeper rooted on the spot. Didn't want to come for it. I think if he's a yard off his line to start with, I think he'd frighten the life out of Vinicius Junior, and the forward would end up pulling out of that situation. Yeah, he tries to make a reactionary save, he does, but he just drops to the feet of Benzema and it's in the back of the net. I think he'd have been better off coming out for that and maybe trying to claim it.
Well, not long after that, Chelsea had a great chance. Chelsea should equalise, really. Conte to the right, Reece James a low cross in. It's a near post chance. Should Sterling score, or is it a world-class Courtois save?
Well, it comes across Raheem Sterling. I thought he should have gone with his right foot. It looks like he's let it come across his body to then try and guide it on target with his left foot, and kind of doesn't make contact. Militao, I think, in the end gets his thigh on it. Courtois has to make a save at the near post. It goes out for a Chelsea corner. See, if that's at the other end coming into Benzema, you know where that's going. You know where that's ending up. That's ending up in the back of the net by hook or by crook. This Chelsea team have created good situations, but as ever, again, they can't apply a finishing touch. There's no reliability about what they're doing up the top of the field at the minute.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, I have been frustrated by both of them up there as well, Felix and Raheem Sterling. And neither can finish, neither can hold it up. They don't worry top-level defenders enough. Runs are too similar from the pair of them, not physical enough as well. And I know it's not Frank Lampard's fault that, you know, the transfer policy that didn't really bring in a striker. Aubameyang can't play Champions League, but I'm looking at them two and thinking, is that really all you've got? They've got to do better.
I thought for 20 minutes, they looked quite dangerous. They had a couple of those turnovers in the middle of the park where they released Conte and they released João Felix and then Sterling. I thought for 20 minutes Chelsea looked like they had something to offer in that position. Gradually, as the half has gone on, it's been less and less. It's come from Reece James, if anybody. Haven't seen Ben Chilwell really with the ball at his feet in a wide position yet. It's been predominantly down Chelsea's right. But those opportunities have been few and far between, certainly the last quarter of an hour, 20 minutes.
And what about the midfield for Chelsea? Because the way I've seen it, there's a lot of cheap possession being given up.
Too
and
many.
If they were more careful with the ball, they'd create even more chances.
Yeah, I would absolutely concur with that. I think Enzo a couple of times has been a little foolish with the choice of pass that he's trying to make. 40, 50 yards across the field, they get cut out. These guys are through you very, very quickly. They got a little bit tippy-tappy, Chelsea trying to play little one-touch stuff in there. Again, white shirts on top of them, pinching the ball off of them, knocking it out wide, and Vinicius is bearing down on Wesley Fofana, running at him in the box. You've just got to be very careful. This Real Madrid team, between the boxes, are not a sensational football team. They're nowhere near as good as Manchester City, the way they construct and play their football between the boxes. But 30 yards from goal, they can become something else in a second aid, and that is where Chelsea, I worry about them. Second half, they're one down, they're in the game. If they're not careful, they'll lose concentration, and this team will punish them again.
Real Madrid 1-up. Man City won 3-0 last night. As it stands, we're heading for a City Real Madrid semi-final, and you know what that brings? A lot of drama, a lot of action, and we'll be at both legs, of course, on Talksport. Chelsea 1 down at the break here at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Champions League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
Imagine how it'd feel to win £10,000. Like you'd smashed it. With Set for Life, you could win £10,000 every month for 30 years. Set for Life from the National Lottery. Play on the app. Prize may be capped. Account terms, rules, procedures and game-specific rules apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Knock, knock.
This Easter on Sky Cinema.
I've lost something. It's one of the most powerful items ever to exist.
Escape the ordinary.
A portable door.
It goes wherever you want to go. Come on!
Starring Patrick Gibson, Sophie Wilde, with Sam Neill and Christoph Waltz.
The door wanted us to come here. Ready?
A Sky original film, The Portable Door. Now showing on Sky Cinema.
And racing multiples only. Min combined odds 2.0. Max 1 per day. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. 18+. Begambleaware.org.
Here's musician and TV radio host Mylene Class for Skechers Arch Fit footwear.
My day-to-day is jam-packed, including being a full-time mum. And if you're busy like me, you can't be slowed down by uncomfortable footwear with no support. So, I get all the comfort and arch support I need with Skechers Arch Fit footwear. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists to create footwear with podiatrist-certified arch support for 24/7 comfort. Because if I don't get a day off, neither should my Skechers.
Find Skechers Arch Fit footwear for men and women everywhere.
With his new iPhone 13 and its advanced dual camera system, Billy can capture every detail of this perfectly sunny spring day. Get iPhone 13 at Vodafone. Now only £36 per month and £19 up front. That's £144 saving. Hurry. Offer ends May 4th, so go online or in store today. Vodafone.
Save £144 on 8 gig 24-month airtime plan. CPI plus 3.9%. Credit check verifications and terms at vodafone.co.uk/mobile. Credit by Vodafone.
I've just sold the car, and it only took me 30 seconds to get a quote from We Buy Any Car.
You know what that means? We're getting a bigger car.
Just sold my car to We Buy Any Car.
Hey.
Just sold my car to We Buy Any Car. Just sold my car to We Buy Any Car.
To find out how much your car's worth in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit WeBuyAnyCar.com/info.
Costs continue to soar.
Sky high! A bit like my gas bills, Ali.
As prices keep rising, we've nailed down hundreds of hours so you can nail spring. Prices nailed at B&Q. You can do it.
Prices held until at least June may be subject to temporary discount. Subject to availability. Excludes B&Q local stores.
Saturday, April the 15th at 5:15, it's the big one, the Grand National 2023. The big horse race with the big obstacles made out of big Christmas trees. And for such a big race with the big names, Paddy Power have big offers across the whole week. Get all the latest odds, tips and great offers for entry on the Paddy Power app. Big jumps, big race, big offers. The Grand National with Paddy Power.
T's and C's apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Champions League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Great cross! Great goal!
UEFA Champions League football.
Oh, it's hit the crossbar and it's stabbed in!
Live on Talksport.
Yeah, don't forget the other quarter-final first leg live tonight is on Talksport 2. Milan lead 1-0 against the Serie A leaders Napoli. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free, swipe between the two stations, or just tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. And in the National League, Gateshead now 3-1 up away to Eastleigh, making the long journey worthwhile. Aaron Martin with his second of the evening. Here at the Bernabeu Stadium in the Spanish capital, it is Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Nicola McGeady from Ladbrokes. Next goal is crucial, but Chelsea not out of this tie by any stretch.
No, but I say, Adrian, it's not looking great for Chelsea. You know, they started well, but hopes of them coming out on top has faded as the game went on, and they're now 16-1 to come out on top in this fixture. Real Madrid are 1-up, 2-9 favourites, with the draw priced at 9-2. We make Madrid odds on to score the second goal at 20-23 with Benzema, 100-30 to score the second goal. If you fancy Chelsea to come out in fighting form, then they're priced at 11-5 to score the next goal. Unfortunately, we don't think we will have both teams scoring tonight. With both teams to score, odds against at 5-4. It is 11-4 the scoreline remains, but the money is coming for a 2-0 win for Real Madrid, and that's 3-1.
Nicola, thank you very much. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
As we wait for the teams to come out for the second halves in both of these quarter-final first legs. AC Milan leading Napoli by 1-0, and here in Madrid it's the European champions who lead Chelsea by 1-0. Tomorrow Ghent against West Ham. Talksport 2, 5:45 kick-off in the Europa Conference League quarter-final first leg. Friday night Middlesbrough against Norwich towards the top of the championship. That's a Talksport 2 exclusive, full commentary of that. And on Saturday, game day is back. The early game is Aston Villa against Newcastle, live and exclusive on Talksport. Join Reshman from 11 in the morning. Same time on Talksport 2, it's Sheffield United Cardiff. I'll be taking you around the grounds with all the goals from 2:30 onwards. I'll be based at Southampton for that. And over on Talksport 2 at the same time, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, Spurs against Bournemouth. Live commentary. And the Women's FA Cup semi-final is 5:15 on Saturday. Talksport 2 from Manchester United against Brighton. Sunday the second semi-final, Aston Villa against the holders Chelsea, will be live on Talksport. That's a 2:15 kickoff. And game night is back Monday night. Myself, Sam Matchface and Danny Murphy will be at Elland Road for Leeds against Liverpool. Just to want to talk about that first half. Wesley Fofana booked very early on in the game, had to be very careful with that, and then in the wrong position for the goal as well. So what was going on with the goal?
Well, again, he just allowed Vinicius to make a run across him, in between him and Thiago Silva from a straight ball. Again, where the mistake he's made is there's no pressure on Dani Carvajal. So when there isn't any pressure, you can't afford to let a runner go. You've got to stay with him. You've got to make sure you're in the right position to deny and to block that run, to check it if you have to just step across him to stop him from making first contact on the ball. As it was, Vinicius makes that run between him and Thiago Silva. The ball is clipped over the top. The goalkeeper's starting position was on the 6-yard box. When he sees Carvajal with the ball at his feet from 35-40 yards, he backpedals. So once Kepa starts going backwards, he then can't immediately spring forward to maybe get there before Vinicius Junior. Once Vinny makes first contact, it's a very difficult one for the goalie to make a reactionary save from 3 or 4 yards, and he pats it out and Benzema just rolls it into an empty net. They could have done something about that goal for sure. Yeah,
on a plate for Benzema. There was also an incident towards the end of the first half where Real Madrid had a corner on the far side, and Raheem Sterling was meant to be defending it, but they basically saunter past him. Reece James was aware and cleared the situation, cleared the danger.
Yeah.
But what on earth is going on there? Should we point to Raheem Sterling and say, hang on a minute, you can't let that happen?
Well, look, of course. Raheem Sterling, when he goes out there, he's gone out there to just try and deny a short corner. As it was, they took it. Vinicius Junior run right along from the corner flag, right along the byline with the ball at his feet, almost getting towards the 6-yard line where it meets the byline, and cutting it back. I mean, that can't happen. That's like schoolboy stuff. Come on, liven up, wake up. Don't allow silly goals, silly situations like that to penetrate you. Otherwise, you've got no chance against this team. Chelsea have got to continue to press aid. They've got to continue to believe they can get back in this game. That first 20 minutes, that belief was there that they could hurt Real Madrid. Started to wane and disappear a little towards half-time.
Yeah, Joao Felix with a really good chance early on, one-on-one. But again, as ever with Joao Felix, he never looks like finishing. He's Chelsea's version of Darwin Núñez. Raheem Sterling with that chance. Reece James ball into the box we talked about before. What I like about Frank Lampard compared to Graham Potter, and it might be, you can tell me if I'm being harsh here, I think there's real energy from the sidelines with Frank. He's always energised, he's always talking to his players, encouraging them, and that feeds into the players. They've looked energised at times at a difficult place.
Yeah, you've got to do that. You have to do that. These younger coaches can't just stand there and with their arms folded and just stand there and do nothing. Look, Ancelotti...
Mate, they're looking at the XG. They're not doing nothing.
Ancelotti stands there with his hands in his pockets most of the time. This is a guy, though, I think that's quite unique in world football nowadays, Carlo, the way that he manages. He's such an experienced campaigner.
But he was throwing his arms in the air at a decision. Right? There's energy there.
He does, but I agree with you. I think in games like this, Lampard needs to be out there and he needs to be screaming at those players literally every second of the way to make sure that they're focused and they stay concentrated. It's concentration is going to be the key for this Chelsea team. If you start feeling tired, your concentration goes, you drop onto your heels, and in a second you've given someone a yard of space, all of a sudden one becomes two and the tie can slide away. Got to stay focused.
Well, Frank Lampard takes his place in the dugout. The Chelsea players are already out there waiting for Real Madrid to come out. The officials are on their way out as well. Benzema about to lead the European champions out. Let me tell you about Graham Norton on weekend mornings on Virgin, 9:30 till 12:30. Wonderful listen before the football takes over on Talksport. Game day 11 a.m. on Saturdays. Sunday session from 1 on Talksport. 60 live games in April, day 3 of 25 consecutive days of live commentaries on the Talksport network. You are in the right place, because it's Talksport where the football never stops. Chelsea still in this for now. Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0, second half, live on Talksport with former Chelsea captain Andy Townsend, alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
And there are no changes ahead of the second half. Real Madrid, Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Camavinga. Valverde, Kroos and Modric, Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius. Chelsea, Ariza Balaga in goal, James, Fofana, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly and Chilwell. It has often been a back five. Kante, Fernandes and Kovacic, with Sterling and Joao Felix up front. Just to underline the point that Adrian was making about Joao Felix, just a couple of goals in his 12 games for Chelsea so far. One at West Ham, one at home to Everton, but only one in his last 18 Champions League ties, all told, which came against Manchester United last season. We're back underway. Real Madrid in all white, Chelsea in all blue, defend the end away to our left-hand side. Fofana, who's the one Chelsea player booked so far. Concussion ahead of back for Kepa Arrizabalaga. And alongside me for the second half, the former Chelsea captain Andy Townsend.
Yeah, let's hope Chelsea keep that ambition in their game that we saw in that opening 20 minutes. They look quite dangerous in those opening exchanges, and I think could have worked Thibaut Courtois even more than they did. Real Madrid pretty much hardly gave Kepa anything to think about before all of a sudden Benzema finds a tap in from a couple of yards out. That's what they do. And then they started to pick it up. Then they started to look threatening and more dangerous. Now, you're going to have to weather storms when you come and play at the Bernabeu. You know that they're going to come at you. And Chelsea have got to resist and still look to find ways to peg them back. I think they're capable of it, but if they lack concentration, they'll concede again.
It is a Real Madrid side who've won their last 10 Champions League quarter-finals, although they've been beaten in the home leg in 2 of the last 3, by Chelsea last season and also by Juventus back in 2018. And Real Madrid on the front foot again here with Camavinga. Playing it forward towards the goal scorer Karim Benzema, but it was well cut out by N'Golo Kante.
Go on then, Raheem.
And Sterling has it, and will play it forward. Joao Felix just dropping off, not running with a great degree of conviction towards the edge of the penalty area, so Sterling had to check back out. But he's found Fernandes to Kovacic, back out towards Ben Chilwell. Kovacic is still there, supplying the width on the Chelsea left. He and Chilwell exchange 2 or 3 passes. Kovacic then, in retaining possession, forced to go back for Koulibaly. In his yellow boots on halfway. Kovacic makes a darting run and Koulibaly plays him in. He's inside the centre circle. Back from him to Kante. And out to Joao Felix again. Fernandes just playing in a number 10 role for a moment. But Felix worked it deeper. This is really good ball retention. Kante to Fernandes. Now Kovacic making his way forward. It's forced Chilwell wider than he wanted to go. He's had to slide to keep it in, but having done that, he couldn't regain possession. Then it ricochets back inside the penalty area to Joao Felix. He sets it up on the edge of the area. Kante. Felix. And a right-footed rising effort. Might have been creeping in the top right-hand corner, but Courtois, one of the tallest goalkeepers on the circuit, made a pretty comfortable save, hands above his head.
Yeah, it was routine actually in the end. The shot from João Felix right down the middle. Courtois is a giant. He was able to gather that quite carefully and easily. Nice possession from Chelsea there, from one side of the field to the other. And again, when Real Madrid did pinch the ball back, the blue shirts descended upon them to win it once more. And he eventually gave João Felix that chance. The shot wasn't really good enough. Need more of that.
Eastleigh's playoff hopes hit over the weekend by a defeat to Torquay. They're 4-1 down now at home to Gateshead. Greg Ollie has scored the latest goal for Gateshead. Courtois with a long ball forward. Koulibaly, they've got goals out of him for a moment. He's recovered. Oh, really well done from Koulibaly. No margin for error there. And he really put his aching body through the pain barrier to make sure that he stayed shoulder to shoulder with Rodrigo and just guide the ball back for Kepa Arrizabalaga. Had he not been able to make that challenge, it surely would have been 2-0.
40-50 yard ball down the middle. And Koulibaly was a little slow to react to it, if the truth be told, and Rodrigo was onto it first, but the big defender, as you say, Jim, did really well to get that big frame back inside the game and make sure he denies him.
And now Chelsea work a crossfield ball out towards Reece James. Challenge on him from Camavinga. Picked up, though, by Fernandes, and he's fired one disappointingly over the bar from about 30 yards out. Two balls on the pitch for a moment, so Courtois' goal kick will just be delayed. With 5 minutes into the second half, it remains Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0, live from the Bernabeu on Talksport.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez taking that shot there, a bit wild, and it releases and relieves all the pressure that Chelsea are trying to put on Real Madrid. But the ball's changing hands a lot. Both teams sloppy in possession since the restart.
And Militao's been able to get it away this time, and Modric did very well to screen the ball from Conte in the midfield. And Vinicius will now have a run at Reece James, and he's got past him, and he gets towards the byline, and still he goes, and he pulls it back towards the edge of the area. Benzema's first touch took him away, but Modric will angle one just over the bar.
Did that ball not go out for a throw-in? It certainly looked like it. It looked like Vinicius right on the halfway line in front of Frank Lampard. He's going mad about it. Protested with the fourth official. It looked like it went out. Look, after that, the run from Vinicius is devastating. He runs beyond Reece James. He goes beyond Fofana, cuts it back to the edge of the box to Benzema, rolls it invitingly in the path of Modric and says, go on, wrap that right foot around that, curl that into the top corner. And he's not far away from doing that.
You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest.
Just seen that shot again on one of our monitors, Jim, in front of us, and that grazes the crossbar. That flighted, beautiful, curling strike from Luka Modric, who's not been at his influential best, but just there, he very, very nearly extended that lead.
He's playing tonight, Modric, his 107th Champions League game for Real Madrid, which is an extraordinary number. Here's Vinicius, left-hand side of the penalty area again. Chelsea backing off him, and then Fofana did well to force him to play the ball back. Chelsea are able to get it away. João Felix, it's a poor pass. Conte made something out of nothing, but in doing so, all he could really do was foul Modric. And it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Real Madrid.
And there's another difference, a striking difference between the two teams. When Real Madrid counter, they look like they're really going to punish. They're going to hurt you. Chelsea now, again, João Felix, poor option, nothing happens.
Benzema getting inside the penalty area, and Thiago Silva did well to recover. Just as he chopped it back towards his right foot, Karim Benzema, Silva came in and flicked it away from his toes, and Arrizabalaga was able to pounce on it. But the half chances that are being created, and some of them are better than half chances at the beginning of this second half, are all away to our left-hand side.
Yep.
Real Madrid, far and away the more likely team at the moment to score the second goal in this game. They got the first with Karim Benzema on 21 minutes. Here's Camavinga in possession, finding Kroos. Kroos bypassing Valverde in the midfield. The Uruguayan then stretches out her right foot to control a ball from Carvajal. Eder Militao works it back for Courtois, and he chips it left-footed down towards Camavinga, an inch-perfect pass. 7.5 minutes gone in the second half. Camavinga bringing it to the edge of the centre circle, then plays it down to the left for Modric, who's got 10 yards of space really to work with before Conte comes across. So Modric plays a little 1-2 with Vinicius, and the whistle goes, and it's Koulibaly who's gone down hurt. He's about 7 yards outside his own penalty area, and that must have been something that has not happened off the ball, a muscle strain or something, or a result of the previous
correct. It's
chase that he had.
It's that shoulder-to-shoulder run he had against Rodrigo, where he was a bit flat-footed and he managed to get back and defend it really well. He seemed to get his body in, and just looking at actually a rerun of that incident, I'm not sure whether or not Rodrigo actually catches him on the back of his ankle and just rolls it. He doesn't look like he grimaces or winces in pain there and then, but he's got a very, very much a resigned look on his face at the moment. There's a little knock on the back of his ankle and his Achilles, but he looks like he's holding his calf, and he looks like he's got that sort of expression which says, I can't go on.
Well, Marc Cucurella is stripped off and ready to come on to replace him. And Cucurella for Koulibaly is a change that Chelsea have been forced into 9 minutes into the second half. Marc Cucurella, who had such a tremendous time of it at Brighton, but it just so far hasn't worked for him for whatever reason at Chelsea. But here's a big stage for him to make an impression and hopefully start to turn it around.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's found it difficult, Cucurella. He's looked unsure. I think of the position that he's been asked to play in at times, left of three at the back. Not sure how much that suits him. Not particularly aggressive in his work and his defensive work. Can be neat and tidy with the ball at his feet, but has lacked any real confidence since he's been at the bridge. Well, he's pitched into the heat of this one now. Koulibaly off, Cucurella on, needs to get up to speed as soon as possible.
So that's a straight swap on the left of the three centre-halves for Chelsea. They've been forced into that first change 9 minutes into this second period on Talksport, where Real Madrid lead 1-0, and Cucurella immediately has Benzema running at him to try and get on the end of a long diagonal ball played in the direction of the pair of them, and Cucurella did well to get it away. Here's Fernandes. Inside the centre circle. That's a good crossfield ball from him to James. That pass is always on, as Andy was saying in the first half. James, though, receiving it, his first thought to go back rather than to try and take Camavinga on.
Correct, take Camavinga on. That ball out from Menzo was perfect to Reece James. He got the ball out of off his chest, on his feet. I think there he's got to try and set up the fullback. Camavinga not great when people are running at him.
And on a yellow card as well. Ball played for by Chelsea, having won it back in the centre of midfield. Joao Felix turning, had three white shirts around him, but Valverde's going to be able to bring it away. Then he will poke it forward down the touchline, and that's really good covering from Fofana. James passed Camavinga on to Fofana, really. And Fofana covered the ground quickly enough, got it away, out of play off Camavinga for a throw that'll be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. Coming up on Saturday on Talksport, it's a belter, 12:30 game. Villa-Newcastle. Villa 4 wins in a row, Newcastle 5 wins in a row, both with an opportunity to finish their best season for a long, long time. Villa 6 in the Premier League at the moment. They haven't finished in the top 6 for 13 years, but we'll take another step towards it. And that's our 12:30 game. Reshman in the chair from 11, Game Day Live, this coming Saturday on Talksport. Chelsea trailing 1-0, 11 minutes into the second period. Sterling playing the ball back for Cucurella here. And towards Ben Chilwell, and back for the floppy head Spaniard. Fernandes, another ball that didn't have the necessary care. And then he's forced to dive in to try and rectify his error, having given Kovacic something or nothing ball, and he's given a free kick away.
That starts. Raheem Sterling picks the ball up. He's running at that Real Madrid back four, stops, turns round, goes backwards. Now, you've got to believe that when someone like Sterling gets the ball in a pocket of space, he's able to set people up. He can run at them and go beyond them. Got to have more about him than just getting it, turning around and rolling it backwards. That's not what he's there for tonight. He knows that he's got to stretch. He knows that he's got to dart into channels. Take people on. Be brave enough to try and commit Militao to a challenge. Get him on a yellow card if you can.
Cucurella recently on for Koulibaly, back for Thiago Silva, Fofana to Kante, James showed for the return run, but David Alaba read that very easily. He plays it in towards Rodrigo, and he can bring it towards the edge of the area and just flicked it in behind Benzema, who's very well read by Fofana.
Should shoot. Great chance for Rodrigo there to shoot. Chance for a Chelsea counter here.
With Cucurella playing a good ball forward from the back. Joao Felix receiving it and setting up Sterling, darting inside the penalty area. And they've waited for Courtois to come out and pick it up. And he managed to get there. It was good defending by Eder Militao in the midst of all of that as well.
Yeah. Again, nothing convincing about Raheem Sterling's work at the very, very top of the field. Just there, he picks the ball up. He's backing defenders into the box. I've seen him skip by many top-class defenders over the years, but at the moment, those decisions aren't the right ones.
Now another long ball over the top of the back line. And Chilwell, has he pulled his man down on the edge of the area? He has. It's a red card.
Wow.
That is a big call from the referee, Letessier. Rodrigo goal-sided Chilwell. And he was just outside the penalty area. And Ben Chilwell is sent off for the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. And Chelsea will play the final half hour with 10 men.
Again, actually, when I look at it, it's the right call. It's the right call. Because Cucurella gets dragged under the ball from that left-sided central defensive position. He gets dragged under the ball. Rodrigo spins him. The ball is clipped over the top. Ben Chilwell from the left wing-back position trying to get on the cover. He's always the wrong side. Puts his hand on the shoulder of Rodrigo right on the edge of the box. It's not in the box, but it doesn't matter because the striker would have been through, bearing down on Kepa. It's a foul. It is a red card. And Chelsea now got a lot of work to do.
So Ben Chilwell sent off, and clearly he's going to miss the second leg live on Talksport next Tuesday through suspension. And he would say it was a calculated risk that he really felt as though he couldn't allow Rodrigo to get in goal side of him inside the penalty area and get the shot in. But they've still got this free kick to defend. And Benzema, on 349 goals for Real Madrid, is amongst those in here with a great degree of interest. He just walks away from it now. David Alaba, the man who's going to be taking charge of this situation by the look of it. Chelsea with 5 in the wall, 1 down behind it, and it's driven in, and Federico Balaga showed him that side of the goal. He's right, he dived to his right and was able to make the save.
Yeah, Alaba actually, rather than going over the wall, just goes down, hits it almost along the floor, around the side of the wall, goalkeeper's side, no problem, very comfortable save. But this 30 plus minutes now for Chelsea is going to be a very important one.
Okay, so tactically, as things stand, they've just dropped Cucurella in at left back in a back four. Yep. Is that the right thing to do?
Well, that's whilst Frank Lampard's given himself 5 minutes to think about exactly what he wants to do. They go 4-4-1 just for that time. Conte's gone over on the right, Enzo and Kovacic in the middle. Raheem Sterling now is a left-sided midfielder of 4 to just leave Joao Felix. You've got to get Joao Felix off, I think. You've got to have more presence now with 10. You need Kai Havertz on. I think you've got to make a change like that. Most certainly. Whether they then tinker with the shape, we'll see. But I don't think you could. The ball's going to be coming back every second now if they're not careful.
Here's Luka Modric for Real Madrid. Camavinga is 5 outside the penalty area. Real Madrid 1, 10-man, Chelsea 0. Chilwell sent off 3 minutes ago. Here's Kroos down to the Madrid left again. Vinicius, Camavinga. Well, one back by Reece James. Camavinga with a sliding challenge, but it's in vain. Ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Now, we have seen Raheem Sterling play as a left wing back at times under Graham Potter. It's not a position he necessarily thrives upon, but that is a potential here. It's very definitely a 4-4-1 here. The unused substitutes for Chelsea at the moment: Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, Chalobah, Mudryk, Mount, Zakaria, Ziyech, Azpilicueta, Gallagher, and the man we're going to see, Kai Havertz. He will be coming on, and it looks as though it is going to be a double change, in fact, and Chalobah is going to come on as well, which would make you think that they are going to revert back to the back 5 and go 5-3-1 for the time that remains, or maybe effectively 5-4-0. Modric picking it up in the midfield. Real Madrid playing round them very neatly. James just colliding with Rodrigo off the ball. Referee said Rodrigo ran into it.
Yeah, total accident that.
And Fofana can gallivant forward. He eventually is stopped by Camavinga. And now he's well out of position. And Real Madrid in turning possession over will get it back into Chelsea territory very quickly with Modric. Modric's crossfield ball not up to his usual standards. Rescued by Valverde. His first touch, a poor one. And Kanté and then James going to be able to bring it away for Chelsea. So we're going to see Chalobah and Havertz coming on in a moment.
Yeah, well, that was obvious one for me straight away to get Havertz on. Chelsea now need more physical presence and ability to try and keep the ball at the top of the field. He can do that. He's got to try and do it successfully. It will just be interesting to see what sort of shape Frank Lampard deploys now for the remainder of the game. Whatever shape it is, it's not going to be straightforward. It's got to be narrow. It's got to be defensive. They've got to be very aware.
Still Milan 1, Napoli 0. Over on Talksport 2 right now. Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0. Here at the Bernabeu on Talksport with a ball right across the Real Madrid penalty area that Alaba had to make sure that he was alert to and flick it away from N'Golo Kanté. Camavinga bringing it forward. Oh, James committed himself. And Vinicius has breezed past him, and he's inside the penalty area on the left-hand side of the box, trying to open up the angle for a right-footed shot. Lays it off for Camavinga, who's blasted it just wide of the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, and whilst Kepa's fetching the ball, it now gives Frank Lampard a chance to get these changes on and get these all-important substitutions made. They've been standing there for a couple of minutes, Kai Havertz and Chalobah. It's Raheem Sterling that's actually going to be making way, probably as well as João Felix.
So Sterling coming off and João Felix coming off as well. You're absolutely right. So the starting front two replaced here by Kai Havertz and by Trevor Chalobah. Havertz, who scored in the home leg of the quarter-final against Real Madrid last season. 2 goals and 8 Champions League ties this season. Dropped tonight. He started 18 of the last 19 games, but left out this evening. And Chalobah on as well as they go back to the back three.
Yeah, Chalobah's gone in there alongside Thiago Silva and Fofana in that 3. Cucurella now will play as the wing back. And they've just got Kai Havertz. Still got the 3 in the middle of the park that have got to try, particularly N'Golo Kanté with his energy and his legs, to get up there and support Havertz. But Havertz has just got to try and make a nuisance of himself one side. Chelsea have got to be very blatant and play down that side, whichever side he's particularly on in that moment.
Eastleigh 1, Gateshead 5. Down in Hampshire in the National League. Eastleigh still in the playoff positions, but only hanging in there. Great result for Gateshead, who are all but safe. Here's Kroos. Forward towards Camavinga. 20 minutes gone in the second half. 1-0 Real Madrid lead the 10 men of Chelsea. Here on Talksport. Camavinga to Alaba, Eder Militao playing it forward through the midfield. Has only been the one shot on target in the second half from Chelsea, from Real Madrid up to this point.
Chelsea get out of here tonight with a 1-0 defeat. They'll be delighted. They really will. You're right, Real Madrid haven't looked to penetrate that much in the second period. Chelsea now will sit, obviously, 10 yards deeper, a man short. They're going to have to. They can't go and squeeze the ball. You've got to shuffle from side to side and just try and deny as much as you can. Thiago Silva will be bossing that at the back. He'll be calling them up a yard, then screaming at them to drop a little bit with him towards the edge of the box.
Valverde linking up the play on the right-hand side of the midfield with Dani Carvajal. Valverde just straying into an offside position as the ball goes back for Modric. Modric, sensing that, had just turned the other way. Second leg of this tie, live on Talksport from the Bridge next Tuesday. And then the second leg of Bayern Munich against Manchester City is coming your way on Wednesday. The winners of those 2 ties play each other in the semi-finals, and we'll have both legs of both semi-finals here on Talksport, all part of the 25 successive days of live football that we're bringing you on the Talksport network. As Modric brings the ball forward now for Real Madrid and plays it out to the right flank.
Chelsea doing the right thing, inviting the ball wide, and then you go and close it down. Don't go too tight to start with, otherwise they'll play through you. Just invite Real Madrid to go outside of you, and then try and deal with any cross that comes in the box as best as you can. What you mustn't do is get stretched and pulled around and pulled apart and invite Real Madrid to open you up.
The right-footed ball inside the penalty area now is headed away. Headed away by Chalobah, who ordinarily would play on the right of the three centre-halves, but playing on the left at the moment. A goal back for Eastleigh, but the 5-2 down at home to Gateshead. Modric playing the ball forward. Then just saw it ricochet off him, up in the air. Chelsea with a chance to bring it forward, didn't get too far. Real Madrid turning it over again. Benzema around the edge of the penalty area, couldn't get the return ball from Rodrigo. And Chelsea will be able to get it away with Conte belatedly. He goes out to the left-hand side for Cucurella. Cucurella to Kovacic off balance, has lost possession, poked it back towards his own penalty area. It's well defended in the end, and off his line, Arifa Balaga makes a darting run, throws himself on the loose ball 7 yards out.
Whenever the Chelsea do get the ball and turn it over, get possession as they did just moments ago, Havertz can't come short. He's got to spin into a gully. Cucurella gets the ball in a left wing-back position, picks his head up and sees the centre-forward running at him. Spin and go in the gully. Give him something. Give the back three a bit of respite. Let him get up the field 10 yards.
Well, there's some respite as Enzo Fernandez is brought down. It's a free kick which will be taken by Chelsea on the right-hand side inside their own half. Back in action at the weekend at home to Brighton before taking on Real in the second leg. Coming into this, Arifa Balaga, Fernandes, Thiago Silva, James and Koulibaly of the starters, all a yellow card away from a suspension. None of those have been booked so far. Ben Chilwell sent off, so he will miss the second leg. Fofana, the only Chelsea player to receive a yellow card tonight, had to make sure that he didn't overly delay that free kick and get himself a daft second one. He did play it forward. James has it. Falling towards the feet of Fernandes, and he has just been wrestled out of it by Vinicius. A free kick that Chelsea will take. And Fofana has tapped it forward quickly for Fernandes. Havertz. Now down towards James. James to Havertz again. He's just been able to keep it in, and he's won a corner. He was close to being offside, then he was close to going out of play for a goal kick, but he's won a corner off Alaba, and if they are going to be able to find an equaliser on the night, this is clearly got to be just about the best opportunity they have.
Corners, wide free kicks, those set plays are vitally important now. Reece James is taking this one. Real Madrid are about to make two changes of their own. It looks like Rudiger and Asensio coming on. We'll see exactly who they come on for.
Yeah, Asensio for Rodrigo. That's the first change that they're making. And the second one, we'll see Camavinga replaced by Rudiger, which is an interesting one. Alaba will move out to left back and Rudiger will play in the middle. Tony Rudiger, who made more than 200 appearances for Chelsea before making a move to Madrid over the summer. Champions League winner for the club, FA Cup winner as well back in 2017. He's getting his head to this Reece James corner, his first contribution. It was a poor corner under the circumstances, and it might be the catalyst for a Real counter-attack as Carvajal steams forward and plays it down to Vinicius. Well, Cucurella came across to stop him getting too far down the touchline. It's out of play for a Real Madrid throw. We're into the final 20, Andy.
Yep. It's
1-0 to Real Madrid against the 10 men of Chelsea.
So you play professionally in this situation. You run the clock down. You haven't got to be in a rush to do anything. You want to get out of here with the tie very much alive. And at one down, Chelsea have still got a huge part to play. They can still go to the bridge and very much make something of it. Seen them do that against Dortmund. I know Real Madrid are a different proposition in many ways. However, that's not beyond this Chelsea team, despite all their frailties this season, and they're coming up short very much at the top of the field at the moment. A one-goal deficit at the bridge is not insurmountable, even for them.
They just need a little bit of luck in running, and one of those famous Chelsea European nights at home. It is a Real Madrid side that have lost 5 away games in League, Cup and Champions League this season out of 19, so Chelsea would still have at least a puncher's chance. If it's 2-0, you feel that is going to be astonishingly difficult. Modric lets the ball run across him. Benzema Back to Modric. Alaba in this wider position that he's taking up now. Chelsea fans singing the name of Frank Lampard from our right-hand side, doing their bit to try and provide the support to get their team over the line here, still in the tie. But here's Vinicius pulling it back inside the penalty area. Good covering, Cucurella.
Yeah.
And it's gone out of play. Not for a corner, it's just kept in. No. Flag is up on the far touchline. Will be a Real Madrid corner. That's their first of this second half.
Yeah, that was good play from Cucurella. Made sure he stepped across and just got there before Marcus Asensio.
Corner's taken short to Kroos. Kroos on the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed shot. Oh, it's in for two. And from a set piece, Chelsea have been undone. Asensio has only been on the field a couple of minutes, but he's already made a major impact. Corner work short inside the penalty area. Chelsea had just switched off. And with the numerical advantage that they have, Real had the bodies around the edge of the box to be first to the loose ball. And despite the best attempts of Kepa Arrizabalaga, he got a hand to it but couldn't keep it out. Real double their lead, and now there is a mountain to climb.
It's not the first time tonight Chelsea have been sluggish in their reaction from a corner. Real Madrid took it short, went back to the edge of the box. It comes out to Asensio. First time it's on that left foot. It goes through the legs of Wesley Fofana right in front of the goalie. Part of me feels Kepa should be doing better with a shot like that from that sort of distance. I would have to cut the goalie a little bit of slack on this occasion. It has gone through his defender's legs right in front of him. Big goal that in the tie, huge goal in the tie, and everybody in the Bernabeu right now recognises that. The scarves are out, they're being whizzed around above their heads, the noise levels have just gone up. They've just sensed that their team has taken a massive leap into the semi-finals here.
Well, Asensio, a man that has come off the bench to score in a Champions League final in the past, and he's come off the bench to score within 2.5 minutes of his introduction tonight. And now Chelsea will make another double change. Gallagher on and Mason Mount on as well.
Yeah, Thiago Silva is leaving the field. Of course, Frank Lampard very much, I'm sure, aware of how significant, how important he's going to be next week. Put him straight back in the game today. It was absolutely the right thing to do. He's been absolutely fine, played well. He's just making sure that there's no reoccurrence of any niggly injury and that he's going to be okay.
So Mason Mount on and handed a note to Wesley Fofana. Kick-off taken, and Chelsea 2-0 down to 10 men as well. And from this position they simply have just got to try and go for it, try and make something happen. We've got a free kick there. Fernandes was looking for one. He's gone down holding his knee. Real Madrid allowed to play on. Fofana, he's got to be careful. That was a rash challenge. Referee says no foul. Thought he dived in a bit on Modric. Here's Gallagher holding the line on the Chelsea right-hand side to make sure he doesn't go offside. He's played back towards him by Enzo Fernandez, but it was a poor pass and it was easily picked up by Thibaut Courtois. So Chelsea with James at right back, Cucurella at left back, Chalobah and Fofana the two centre halves now. Kovacic is anchoring the midfield. Conte was the other player that went off along with Thiago Silva, incidentally. Now they're playing Gallagher on the right hand side of the midfield four, and Kai Havertz is the target man. Modric skipping round challenges with ease and aplomb. Back for Benzema towards the edge of the penalty area. Kroos setting his sights but whacking it straight at Kovacic, who closed him down quickly.
Good block. This is where Chelsea have to be very careful that Madrid here don't have one of those devastating spells that we spoke about before the game, where they score one and very quickly they knock another one in and pretty much put the tie to bed.
Alaba's low ball in, and Chalobah is able to whack that away and put it out of play for a throw that Real Madrid will take quickly. And it's in their interest to get as many playing seconds out of this game as they can. Alaba with another cross that evades Benzema. It's headed away on the edge of the penalty area. It's going to be brought down by Eder Militao. His ball forward out to the right for Dani Carvajal. Carvajal with Cucurella making ground on him, and Mason Mount as well, who's playing on the left-hand side of the midfield 4, and it was Mount that fouled him. And it's going to be a free kick that will be taken by Real Madrid over to the right. 12 minutes to go. Real Madrid 2, 10-man Chelsea 0. And don't forget this Saturday, Talksport bringing you live and exclusive heavyweight boxing commentary of Joe Joyce against Zheli Zhang. It's live, exclusive and free to listen to on Talksport, the home of boxing, this coming Saturday. And on Saturday, our live football, Villa Newcastle and Tottenham Bournemouth from the Premier League. Sheffield United against Cardiff from the Championship. Sheffield United lose that game. Burnley could be crowned champions Saturday afternoon. Their promotion already assured. We'll find out together with Adrian Durham all the goals as they go from the Premier League and the EFL. Game day live from 2:30 on Talksport on Saturday. And we've got the Women's FA Cup semi-finals this weekend as well. In comes the free kick for Real Madrid, headed away. A back out towards Dani Carvajal on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Modric increasingly involved. Ball played towards the edge of the box, and another effort comes in from about 25 yards out. He's made a good impact, Asensio, since coming on, but that one only into the side netting. And out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, strikes it from distance. Just seeing who's down on the floor, actually. It's Dani Carvajal who's still on the floor. He took one full on the shin, actually, from Mason Mount a few moments ago. He wasn't happy with the challenge at all. But that second goal does alter the landscape significantly, always does. But again, Chelsea without Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, the real experience at the back now, have got to make sure that nothing else gets beyond them.
Now, ball intended for Cucurella was cut out by Carvajal. His ball towards the edge of the area. Asensio's got it. Back towards Modric, who can turn. He can't get a shot in, but he can feed Alaba. Chelsea really on the ropes and hanging on here. 2-0 down. Conor Gallagher can bring this one away. This could be a long last 10 minutes as far as Frank Lampard's men are concerned. Kovacic trying to get it clear, has done exactly that. The blonde-haired Gallagher will pick it up. Havertz wins a throw, and with it the opportunity just to run the clock down. The other game live on Talksport 2 for you right now. Milan leading Napoli by a goal to nil. Napoli down to 10 men as well. The former Fulham man Zambo Anguissa sent off for a second yellow card. Caught Teo Hernandez with a high boot. Second yellow for him. And Napoli down to 10 men. So all to play for in the second leg of that one, which is also next Tuesday at the Diego Armando Maradona. This one, Real Madrid leading by 2-0. Chelsea have it with Havertz, who's controlled it, takes it down on his chest, and then wins another throw as the sliding challenge comes in from Rudiger. And that will preface another change that will be made by Real Madrid, and Dani Ceballos will replace Luka Modric.
Yeah, not been at his imperious best, Luka Modric tonight, but as ever, always keeps the ball ticking over, always makes himself available, and at 2-0 up, chance to give him a little breather and give some minutes to Dani Ceballos.
Reece James bringing the ball down the right-hand touchline. Gallagher taking it into his stride. What Chelsea would give for a goal out of nothing here to halve the deficit and just get themselves back within one killer blow of Real Madrid for the second leg. Live on Talksport next week. James has a throw, but time very much against Chelsea.
Yeah, just there was a glimmer there for Conor Gallagher or Reece James. Put the ball in the box. They did have Mason Mount and Kai Havertz in there. Put it in. You know, at this stage of the game, when you get high up the field, you get a chance to load it into the box. Do that. You never know.
Chelsea 2 down. That game in the National League has finished. Eastleigh 2, Gateshead 5. Your chance to react to all of the action tonight comes on kickoff live on Talksport. Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders opening up the sports bar from 10 o'clock this evening. And you can put your calls now, 03717 223344. Ceballos with a couple of clever touches, then one that looked as though it had got away from him, but he's able to recycle it and find Asensio, the scorer of the second goal. Kroos playing the ball forward and immediately getting the return pass. James cutting out the through ball. Kovacic going back for Chalobah, and Cucurella will play it forward towards Mateo Kovacic again. Kovacic to Enzo Fernandez, who just opened up his body and angles one down the right-hand side for Reece James. James, in controlling it again, turns away from Vinicius and works it back down towards Cucurella on the Chelsea left, and he's been forced back by a good impressive work rate, and then Chalobah forced to let the ball run past him, and he turned it back for Kepa Arrizabalaga, who then just had to whack it forward, and it became a fight ball, but Chelsea won it with Enzo. And now it goes from Havertz, and Cucurella will make a darting run forward, and he's been fouled.
Oh, come on. It must be a foul.
And it's got to be a yellow card as well. It was a very poor challenge that came in, and a yellow card for Eder Militao is the result. That was cynical.
Yeah, and again, we were speaking before the game, Adrian was talking about some of the great Madrid players that have always been capable of the dark arts. We've just seen one there from Militao. The minute there felt like the chance of a counter-attack with Cucurella, he just wiped him out, took the yellow card.
7th of the season for him. Now with 7 minutes to go, Real Madrid will make another change. It's their final one. And Toni Kroos is the player that is coming off. And Tchouaméni comes on to replace him, the man that's on way towards breaking English hearts at the World Cup. And the young man is on for the final 6 minutes. So another set-piece opportunity for Chelsea. They come very infrequently. They've got to make sure the delivery from this one is better than the previous one. Enzo Fernandez standing over it. 4 Chelsea players inside the penalty area. 9 for Real Madrid. And it was one of those that was easily able to get it away. Asensio with a header. Back out towards Fernandez on the far touchline, who can't control it before it rolls out of play. And the throw's been given Real Madrid's way. And that
Waste.
Sums up the evening. He's been disappointed tonight.
Yeah, he's been poor tonight. It's not one of his better games. I think he's been careless in possession. And he's just not really been able to dictate, particularly when Chelsea had 11. Look, very difficult when you go down to 10. They couldn't keep the ball with 11, never mind 10.
Real with an opportunity to bring it forward again. Chelsea have to make sure that there's no further concessions here. Vinicius going for glory himself when he had 2 to his left and 2 to his right. And the ball hit a Chelsea pair of legs. I think it was Chalobah who was able to defend it. That took the sting out of the shot. Kepa could dive onto it to make the save, and he bowls it out for Cucurella. Chelsea into the final 5. Very precariously placed in this Champions League tie. Of course, they lost the first leg of the last quarter-final against Real Madrid last year by a couple, and came so close to winning it, but it's going to need another Everest-like performance from them next week.
It's well played between Chalobah and Kepa there to find their way out of their own 18-yard box. It's been difficult for Chelsea to constructively find a way out. Never easy when you've got 10.
Chelsea punting a long ball forward. Asensio able to deal with it to some extent. Then Mason Mount swings a crossfield ball out towards Cucurella and missed him.
Yeah, sometimes when the game is level and you go down to 10, you can frustrate your opponent. You can make life difficult. Often happens. You work during the week sometimes 11v10, 11v9. You know, you do that to try and make sure you can deny and frustrate your opponent, but when they're already in front and you've got to try and respond, it's very difficult with 10.
Cucurella over on the far touchline, wins the ball back for Chelsea, then ends up on the deck, and the referee is going to show another yellow card. It was Dani Carvajal who's the recipient of that.
Yep.
I think Cucurella had beaten him, and Carvajal took exception to him and fouled him.
Quite right as well there. Cucurella got the ball off Dani Carvajal. He wasn't happy, and he just lashed out at the Chelsea defender with the ball out of possession. He was lucky there. If that had been any more nasty than that, he could have even maybe got a red card.
And needless one to give away. 3 minutes to go. Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0. And it was a night that had started very promisingly for Chelsea. Those early counter-attacks that couldn't make the most of the chances that came their way. Yellow card for Kovacic, incidentally, in the midst of that last incident as well. but he's not one of the players that will miss the second leg next week through suspension as a result of the yellow tonight, but he has been booked. He and Fofana, the two recipients of yellows tonight for Chelsea, and of course a red for Ben Chilwell. Throw to be taken by Cucurella. It's level the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time for Chelsea to potentially throw themselves some kind of lifeline. Fernandes, that's another good ball down towards Reece James. When he gets the passes right, they can be incisive and superb, but he gets them wrong just a little bit too often. He's won a free kick here as he was faced up by Vinicius, who fouled him. So another set-piece opportunity for Chelsea. The previous two have been really poorly delivered, but what can they get from this one?
Yeah, they don't quite have the threat in there of Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. That doesn't mean to say that Wesley Fofana and Chalobah and Kai Havertz can't throw themselves at it, but there's a wall of white shirts about a yard above the penalty spot as we speak. Reece James with the ball at his feet, very wide, midway in Real Madrid half, so it's coming in from a long way out. This one is going to take a very good delivery.
James just clipping it in, heads go up for it, and almost inevitably it was a white shirt that got there first. Chelsea do get another throw out of it, but much nearer halfway than the edge of the penalty area. A minute to go, and then we're expecting 5 to be added on. James playing the ball back infield towards Enzo Fernandez. James gets the return ball. He's near the corner of the penalty area. Fernandez slipping it back towards him. Easily cut out, though, by Alaba. Ball falls to the feet of Vinicius. Vinicius whacking his foot through it. Chalobah can't divert it away from Asensio. Asensio picking it up. Carvajal making a run to his right. Valverde is taking the attention of a couple of Chelsea players as well, and that allowed Asensio to come into a more midfield position, just slowing things down again. Alaba just inside his own half, ventures back into Chelsea territory and slips it to his left for Vinicius. And Real Madrid toying really with Chelsea. The cat with a ball of wool. Alaba plays the cross inside the penalty area. Arrizabalaga has caught it. By the time he delivers it upfield, we'll just about be in stoppage time.
Yeah, it's not been vintage Real Madrid. Far from it. But it's enough for them to feel that they don't have to push for another goal, that they already are playing like a team that feel that they'll comfortably take this to Stamford Bridge. The ball just come out to Carlo Ancelotti, took a touch, he rolled it up onto his knee, onto his other foot, and knocked it back to Alaba to take the throw in. That's what everyone's cheering for.
Yeah, the crowd appreciated that, and then it came back to him a second time. It was a hospital pass straight down the touchline, and the throw that was supposed to be taken quickly couldn't be as a result of that. We're in stoppage time, 5 minutes added. Real Madrid leading Chelsea by 2 goals to nil. So the reaction, your reaction to this is going to be very interesting tonight on 0371 722 3344 on the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders, and then more reaction tomorrow. Roman Calderon and Mario Melchiot both on Talksport Breakfast with Sam Matterface and Gabby Agbonlahor from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Also, if you fancy something different on your morning commute, check out the Chris Evans Breakfast Show on Virgin. Ball cleared by Chalobah from inside the penalty area, and Chelsea are going to be able to bring it away again. Mount's not been in a position really to make anything happen since he's come on, neither has Havertz.
No, because you're down to 10, you're just shuffling from side to side, you're just making sure you're plugging gaps and filling holes. Haven't got the legs really to sprint beyond. There's a chance for Alaba down the left.
And he's got so much time to measure across. He's taking it towards the byline. Cross comes in, and it's headed over the bar eventually by Benzema as the cross came in, and it was palmed straight onto his head by Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he's missed it.
I cannot believe he, of all people, misses that. Good ball from Alaba. Kepa palms it right onto his head, about 7 yards out. And it's not like one that's that awkward. I've seen him score having to adjust and react far better than that. And I'm amazed that Karim Benzema hasn't made that 3-0. I really am.
Long clearance from Arrizabalaga. Gallagher will go up for it. Havertz beaten to it by Eder Militao, and Real Madrid whack it away again. Andy, give us a brief synopsis. What are the most positive aspects for Chelsea?
The positive, the first 20 minutes, they look dangerous. but the same old frailties have come to the fore. They've got nothing at the top of the field, this Chelsea team. They're lacking belief, they're lacking that goal output that you need to win this. One last chance here, Cucurella.
And his ball hits the nearest Real Madrid player as he drives it in. It was Carvajal, and he goes out of play for a throw.
Look, no one ever faults their effort, and I mean Graham Potter, under him they were working hard, they're trying to make it happen, but it's not there. The quality's deserted this club at the moment at the top of the field, and all those millions and tens of millions, hundreds of millions that they spent, the one area that they neglected was the one that they needed more than anything.
Cucurella's outside the area. It's a big chance, and it's a sliding challenge that knocks it away from Rudiger.
What a chance.
As Mason Mount turned inside the penalty area, and he got it onto his left foot, and he was only 7 yards out. He pulled the trigger, and Rudiger from nowhere telescopes out a right leg and diverts it away.
What a challenge from Rudiger. Mason Mount doesn't do a lot wrong. His first touch is good, right on the corner, as you say, Jim, of the 6-yard box. And Rudiger leaping across to his right, stretches that big right leg out. Courtois also spreading himself in front of Mason Mount, but the big defender blocking that shot. That was a genuine chance there for Chelsea to salvage something from this game, and maybe the tie.
Well, it would have felt very different at 2-1 next week. As it is, just over a minute of stoppage time to go, and the 10 men, clearly it's imperative they don't concede a third. Vinicius towards the edge of the penalty area. Benzema trying to take it on. Does well to flick it out to his right-hand side. Carvajal with a cross. Fofana heads that away. Chelsea able to turn it further forward, but just can't get anything to stick up top at the moment. There is no outball. Havertz has been game, but has had no kind of service and just hasn't been able to hold it up at all. Ball goes out for a throw, which will be taken on the Chelsea left by Cucurella. Cucurella on as a substitute in this second half, finding Kovacic spraying it wide for Reece James. Can they launch one final attack? James again hurriedly plays it back. It was another hospital ball that was very nearly intercepted. Vinicius couldn't quite get there.
He's done that a little too often for me tonight, Reece James, going backwards. Sometimes you're going backwards when you got 10. You're not keeping it. Eventually someone just ends up planting their foot through it and knocking it up the middle, and Madrid get it anyway. You're better off maybe just clipping something further forward and asking a Havertz or somebody to just willingly chase after it up the field a bit more.
Full-time whistle goes, and the first leg is over. It's a night that has gone with the form book. Ben Chilwell's dismissal on the hour mark tonight, giving Chelsea a mountain to climb. By that stage, they were already a goal down to Karim Benzema. Asensio off the bench, added a second. No one in Champions League history has come off the bench and scored more goals than him. There have been positives for Chelsea in the first half, but still that bluntness at the top end of the pitch where it matters has haunted them. They did give it a good go from 2 down in the second leg last season, but they've left themselves a Herculean task at the Bridge next Tuesday. This one has finished. Real Madrid 2, 10-man Chelsea 0.
And I just want to say fair play to the Chelsea fans. They're just away from us, a little way from us, top of the fourth tier. Not many of them, and not many of them left, but I have to say that throughout the game they were absolutely fantastic. Fair play to them for that. Just a little pocket of them, but they made themselves heard and supported their team, and certainly supported Frank Lampard. But those Chelsea players, they might have thought to themselves, 1-0, and we've got a chance second leg. I wonder what they're thinking now. They have to go back to Stamford Bridge on Tuesday, trailing by 2 goals to 0. The last time Chelsea, in fact, I think they've only won once at home by 2 clear goals this calendar year. So they're going to have to step it up. And Andy Townsend, if they are going to get through, they've got to be much, much better in attack than we've seen over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there for a while now for Chelsea, this issue. It really has. They started the game, I thought, with a good amount of composure in possession. They had a cutting edge. They had a through ball that actually worried Real Madrid a couple of times. João Felix got through, just didn't have the pace to get himself right beyond everybody to really test Thibaut Courtois. Sterling got in a couple of times. I thought Raheem Sterling should have done better from that Reece James cross off the right. But there were moments for Chelsea. but they just can't take them. They just seem unable to apply a finishing touch when it is most needed. And if you haven't got that, then it hurts. It really hurts you, because when you do come under pressure, when you are tested, when you are really stretched, you go under. And that's what's happening to this Chelsea team. They're almost becoming accustomed to losing matches and conceding goals and
not scoring.
And not scoring, Aid. And it's really, really tough for them. And it's a tough watch, as you say, for those die-hard Chelsea fans that have got here. And it'll be a tough watch and listen for everybody back home. But the truth and the reality is, you can be as competitive as you like. If you haven't got a cutting edge, you ain't winning this competition. You've got no chance. And Chelsea are going to have to find something that I haven't seen for a while now at the Bridge next week.
I'm going to draw some positives, give Chelsea fans a little bit of hope. That one victory by 2 clear goals at home in this calendar year was in the Champions League against Dortmund, 2-0. They've won 3-0 at home twice this season, way back in October, back-to-back 3-0 home wins against Milan, Champions League, and against Wolves as well. But it all feels so very, very long ago. Let's talk about the red cards. Did Cucurella get Ben Chilwell sent off, or is that too harsh?
No, you're right. It was he got dragged towards the ball, so he's in a left of side of 3 central defenders, and it was Rodrigo that went towards the halfway line. Cucurella went too tight with him. Rodrigo just spins. The ball is clipped over his head, and Ben Chilwell from that wider position feels like he's got to recover. Almost gets there, puts his hand on his shoulder on the edge of the box, pulls him back. And if he hadn't have done that, the lad is through with a clear shot at goal. So it had to be a red card.
So Ben Chilwell have no choice there?
No, he has got a choice.
Has he been quite clever not giving away a penalty as well as getting sent off?
Well, he certainly made sure he made contact outside the box, Aid.
Yeah.
I mean, again, in the first leg of a 2-legged tie, you could argue that maybe Ben Chilwell would have been better served to say, well, go on in, go through, and if you score, you score. You know, and unfortunately, you just make that decision in a heartbeat, in a split second. He put his hand on his shoulder, and Rodrigo's definitely going to hit the floor. Did so, and the referee has to produce a red card. It is the right call. Cucurella hadn't been on that long. How long had he been on? I don't know, 10 minutes. But again, got dragged under the ball, sucked in, and eventually got done with the ball over his head. Teammates trying to recover, ends up getting a red card. And he's going to be a big miss next week in a game where you're going to need someone like a Ben Chilwell to get high up the field and produce a bit of class. Then he's going to be missed.
Yeah, he is. And just on Cucurella, he's going to get awful stick for this. Social media has been rife with it. He's had a lot of stick since he joined Chelsea Football Club. So much so that even I feel a little bit sorry for him. And then I'm looking at the subsequent free kick after Chilwell sent off. He's the draft excluder. This is a defender in this Chelsea side. How often is a defender the draft excluder?
Well, again, I mean, that's a good spot for me. I didn't see that. I wasn't aware of that. I'm just looking at a rerun on our monitors in front of us of the goal, of the all-important 2-0 goal.
The Asensio strike.
It's a corner from Luka Modric. Chelsea are slow to react. They're a bit slow. They're asleep. They're on their heels. Eventually, Vinicius Junior plays it right onto the edge of the 18-yard box on Asensio's left foot. It goes through Fofana's legs. Kepa gets it. I think the goalie should save that.
Well, I heard you in commentary and you were talking about it going through Fofana's legs and all that, but I think Kepa's got to do better there, surely.
I must admit, the more I'm seeing it now, where the goalie gets his hand on it and it somehow still finds its way into the net, it's a criticism that's been labelled at Kepa a lot, that he doesn't do enough with his hands with shots from distance. Again, when I saw it in real time, I thought that maybe the Fofana going through his legs might have done him a little bit. When I'm watching it there now on the monitors again, I'm thinking he might have done better.
Asensio's out of contract in June, by the way.
Yeah.
What a signing he's going to be for somebody. Andy, it's 2-0 to Real Madrid. First leg is done. Second leg coming up live on Talksport next Tuesday. Let's pick out this evening's Man of the Match with Till by NatWest.
Man of the Match on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and eligibility criteria apply.
So former Chelsea captain Andy Townsend, who are you going for?
I'll probably go tonight. I don't think there was a sparkling Real Madrid player. I'll probably go the most dangerous was Vinicius Junior. I think he always looked like a threat. He always looked capable of perhaps producing a bit of brilliance. He made that all-important contact on that through ball to allow Benzema to get the first goal. I would give it to him.
That is our pick for this evening's Man of the Match with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest.